and me.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I'm Shivani Gupta and joining me is none other than Sania Mirza to talk about her glorious career, which is almost coming to an end. Sania, we discussed this when you joined us at the CNN IVN Indian of the Year Awards last year, a couple of months ago. Since then, you've played your final Grand Slam at the Australian Open. For those who don't know, Sania actually sent me this T-shirt from the Australian Open. So I'm wearing this for this very special interaction. We saw your speech after your final match, and it was almost a fairy tale retirement from Grand Slams, where you made it to the finals with in mixed doubles with none other than Rohan Bopanna, one of your oldest friends and partners. And it was a very emotional moment for you. Could you describe to us what that moment was like?
Um, well, I think that I was holding on to so many emotions for those 2 weeks that everything kind of came out together. And I think it would probably come out anyway at whatever time my Grand Slam was going to be over. But it just
Yeah.
happened to be in front of the whole world and in the final. So, I mean, I'm so glad, right, that happened, because if I had to write a story where I would like to finish my career and where I would like to finish playing, it would be on one of the biggest courts of the world, and playing in a big final. So for me, it was a dream finish, and it was obviously very special because it was in Australia as well. But for so many reasons, my son was there, my parents were there. It was with Rohan, who was my first ever
Yeah.
mixed doubles partner 22 years ago, which is crazy when I say those numbers in my head. Actually, now you don't realize where those 22 years have gone. Time just kind of flew by, and yeah, so there was so much in my head, and that's why I started by saying it's all happy emotions, because the emotions were actually really, really happy, satisfied, full of gratitude, gratefulness. It was all that, and yeah, a
Mm.
little bit of just sadness to leave and know that I'm never going to come back and compete in a Grand Slam final again. So, but yeah, mostly it was all happy, and I was just holding on and holding in for 2 weeks, so I kind of just let it all go.
You don't cry in public very easily. So that is something if you that just tells you how special this moment was. I did see a picture that one of your family showed to me behind the scenes when you entered, I think the lounge, the players' locker room after the final, and I think you were a little bit teary then as well. They had
I
some
was
bouquets
I
and gifts for
was
you.
I was not a little bit teary. I was bawling actually, and like I didn't for once I didn't care who was there and how many people, and everybody was a little shocked, I think, as to what to do, because everybody was standing around me, and I couldn't hold it in anymore,
Hmm.
and I just felt like I needed that release, and it was almost like a 18-year release. It was not just a 2 week release that happened in those moments, but it's been an amazing journey, and it has been truly, truly special to be able to share that with my family, to share that with some of my best friends, to share the court with one of my closest friends who also happens to be Indian, which is really special for. Well, I mean, there is not many Indians that I can choose from. So yeah, it was Rohan by choice, but also it would have probably been Rohan anyway, because
Yes.
he is, like I said, he is one of my best friends on and off the
Hmm.
court, and we just go such a long way back. But I think it is very special because actually I wanted to play with him at US Open, and that didn't happen because I hurt my elbow. And even that time I said, "Oh, Ron, you want to play?" And he's like, "Okay, we'll play." And then
Hmm.
I was like, "Ro, I can't play. You got to find someone else." And then we just in December, I just happened to pass it because I actually wasn't sure how good or bad my body will be. So it was very
Yeah.
last minute. I was still waiting to see. And then, when they were here for training, I just said, Rohan, you want to play Australia since it's my last? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I mean, what better way? We've actually never played a final together.
Yes.
So which
Yeah.
was amazing that we were able to do that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. At this age and the numbers that you were talking about, so it's such a grand finale to your Grand Slam career. Of course, you will play a couple of more tournaments, and your final Swan Song tournament will be in Dubai, which is also home for you. I'll come to that in just a bit. But Sani, I did want to ask you, and we've spoken a few times about this. You're known for your ferocious forehand. That's something that everybody remembers about you. You're known as a fearless athlete, especially a female athlete who was coming up at a time when you were, and you were very fearless with the way you handled everything and expressed yourself. You're also known as a fighter. You fought a lot of odds off the court, on court. You came back after becoming a mother. I do want to ask you today, I've asked you a lot of things about your favorite partnerships and all of that, but how would you like to be remembered?
I would like to be remembered as a person who fought for what she believed was right, who fought against the odds. Because, yeah, I mean, of course, I would like to be remembered as someone who was able to achieve everything that I did and being number one in the world and winning Grand Slams, and of course, all those all those things on the tennis court. But I just feel like today I've reached a stage in my life where it's not just about winning tennis matches and hitting tennis balls. Is much larger than that. And when you ask me what I would like to be remembered as, I would like to be remembered as a very good tennis player who also stood her ground when it mattered, who also fought against a lot of odds on and off the court. And for someone who truly tried to stay as authentic as possible, and I'm going to lie if I say I was 100% authentic all the time, because it's just not possible in front of the public eye, but as authentic as possible. And that is something that I strive for, to try and be the truest self, and to try and be a good example in many ways, to be able to inspire young girls, young boys, young mothers who want to dream and fulfill their dreams, and know that you can do it. There are people who have done it, and you can be one of those people. Your life just does not end because you have a baby and you have more responsibilities. It's actually just the beginning of a new chapter. So I want to be remembered for all those things as well, as well as being someone who was able to achieve the things that I did, and to be number one in the world. Not many people get to say that. So yeah, I'm very proud of those things, but I'm also proud of the way I've been able to stay true to myself.
You've inspired a lot of people, a lot of girls especially. So, that's one big thing that Sania Mirza's career is also always going to be known for, because before you, there weren't many females who had done what you have done in sport in general for India, and of course in tennis particularly. And you must be very, very aware of just how many women, how many young girls you've inspired to be Sania Mirza or to be like Sania Mirza in whatever field they choose.
I think that is very important, because I think that 30 years ago, when I and my family dreamt of all these things and playing Grand Slams and winning them, though winning was so far ahead of the dreams. It was just about getting there. At that point, when we dreamt about all this, people used to actually laugh at us, and that. I mean, obviously, you've been around our family, and they used to think that we're crazy. And yeah, maybe we were a little crazy to have a crazy dream, So that is something that you have to be. You have to achieve amazing and great things. You have to be a little crazy. And crazy is not always bad. You can be, you can believe in yourself. And my parents did, and they believed in me and my abilities and my talent when no one else did. So I think that for me, it is very important to put that out, that whoever and whatever you do in your life, never let anyone tell you that you can't do it. Because as young girls, we are told more often than not that we can't do something than that we can do, right? I mean, even you will say yes to that. Every young girl will tell you. Because the minute a young girl chooses a profession that is outside of the box, she's told that, but are you crazy? Why do you want to do that? Like, why don't you just do what normal people are supposed to do culturally or whatever? So the fact is that I think that's why I keep saying, even if I've inspired one young girl, one young mother, one young child to dare to dream, then I think that my job has been fulfilled for what I've been placed here for.
Can I ask you, when you were at the Australian Open, you talked a lot about how the Australian Open is extremely special for you, because that third round appearance versus Serena Williams really made you the star, and made the world look up and take notice of Sania Mirza and her forehand especially. Of course, you won at the Australian Open before, and then of course you were in the mixed doubles final as well. I remember a few other moments from your career which possibly were extremely special similarly, but I want to ask you, when you look back, what is that one moment that stands out?
In Australia or like anywhere in the world?
Generally, yeah, generally from your career. top
Well, I
notch.
mean, I think I'm fortunate enough to say that I've had so many such moments that it's very
Yeah.
difficult for me to say, oh my God, this is the one moment that I feel has defined, me, and it really has, like, I'm like, okay, that one match. It was never like that. It's been, whether it was becoming number one in the world, whether
Mhm.
it was winning my first medal when I was 15 years old for
Yes.
India. I mean, those
Yes.
memories, and I may have been, I mean, that was a bronze medal, but I went on to win golds at Asian Games, many, many medals at Asian Games, many years after that. But the feeling of winning that first one's always stands out, because you know what it has taken you for you to get there and to be able to, and because after you win the first, it's very easy for people to believe in you. It's much
Mm-hmm.
harder for people to believe in you when you've not gotten that first. So, and for yourself sometimes, and for yourself sometimes you need that first one. So that one was very special for me. For me, obviously winning Wimbledon was extremely special. So like I said, it's very desire career. That's where it kind of like people took notice and started believing that we can, as Indians, compete against the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to have a certain path. You can create your own path, which I was fortunately and by the grace of God able to do.
Yeah, of course, I can add to that list top 30 in the world for the first time, an Indian woman getting there, world number one, six Grand Slams, many more Grand Slam finals, and a whole host of other things, WTA, year-end trophies, and more. But finally, I want to ask you, what is post-retirement life for Sania going to be like? You are a mother, you have a family, so of course that's going to be a very big part of your life, maybe more kids, I don't know. But otherwise, as a person, as a human being who's been getting up at 6 a.m. in the morning and working so hard physically all her life, what is that one thing you look forward to doing, and what is post-retirement like?
But I'm actually looking forward to a little bit of a calm. I need to find my calm a little bit, and I feel the need to do that, and I feel yeah, I just need to do different things and not travel as much. I mean, I still want to
Hmm.
travel. So those are the things that I want to do. I've started some academies, and I've started some back end work. I'm into a couple of more businesses that I want to get into further once I stop. So I am still busy. It's just I just want it to be a little quieter. That's all.
Well, it will be quieter naturally because the kind of noise and the kind of impact your career has made, I don't think there is a parallel story to that. I don't think that anybody else can say that they've had quite the career that Sania Mirza has had, Indian or otherwise, because your story is so much larger than the tennis court itself. It's a lot more things added on to it and everything around it. And I've been lucky to interact with you and your family. And one thing that always stands out is that good or bad, you roll with it, you laugh through it, and
Yeah.
that is something that you need to kind of do this. Otherwise,
No,
it's
I
not
think
possible to do
no,
that.
I think that and I think that people actually don't realize because maybe I sometimes come off a little standoffish, but I think that for me humor is a very big part of my life and it
Yes.
gets me through a lot.
Hmm.
It gets me through good and it gets me through bad and we take as a family we take everything with a smile and that's literally how we are and that's what we've been taught and it's actually makes life it does make life a little bit easier, even in those tough moments. But I just want to say, like, before we go, that it's been an absolute privilege to represent our country, to represent everybody, to represent you all at that stage, being the first woman to be able to do the things that I was able to do, and it's been an absolute honor and a privilege, and that's the part I'm going to probably miss the most. I still think that I can represent the country in different ways, but I don't think that it's going to happen on the tennis court again, and that is where I am truly myself on the tennis court and
Hmm.
winning and competing and yeah, so I just want to say it's been an absolute honor for the last 20 over 20 years to be able to do that.
Well, you've been a fierce competitor and an absolute role model, a great ambassador for the country and the sport. The world recognizes that. I want to wish you and your family at the end of a glorious career because obviously it
Thank
takes a
you.
lot of effort from your family to get you to where you have achieved everything that you have. And all the best for the next couple of tournaments that are coming up. I hope to chat
Thank
up
you.
with you after the final tournament as well. May
Thank
you
you.
end on
See
a
you.
high
See
and
you
thanks.
guys. See you on the other
Thanks a
side.
lot for speaking to us.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.